While the world braces for recession, one G7 nation just pulled off something economists didn't see coming, outpacing Switzerland, Spain, and Australia in GDP growth. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. This same country is hemorrhaging jobs, losing its brightest minds, and watching living standards collapse in real time. If you've been tracking global economics waiting for the next crisis, what's unfolding in Canada right now will flip everything you thought you knew about growth, prosperity, and what those numbers actually mean for real people. Let me hit you with the numbers first. Canada's Q3 2024 GDP growth came in at 1% annualized. That beats Spain at 0.8%, Switzerland at 0.6%, and Australia sitting at 0.8%. On paper, that's a win. Headlines celebrate. Politicians take victory laps. But here's what Wall Street analysts are whispering behind closed doors. They're calling it zombie growth, economic expansion without actual prosperity. Meet Raj Patel, 34 years old. Software engineer living in Toronto. Back in 2022, Raj was living the dream. He earned $95,000 a year, owned a condo, and was planning to start a family. Fast forward to 2024, same job, same salary. But his rent? Up 40%. Groceries? Up 30%. Raj told me something that stuck with me. I'm making more money than my parents ever did, but I can't afford the life they had at my age. And here's the thing, Raj isn't some outlier. He represents millions of Canadians experiencing the exact same paradox. So how is Canada's economy growing while its people are getting crushed? The answer reveals one of the darkest tricks in modern economics. In 2023 alone, Canada added 1.2 million people to its population. That's the fastest population growth in the entire G7, a 3.2% increase in a single year. According to Statistics Canada's October 2024 report, 97.6% of that growth came from immigration. Now, here's the part most people don't understand about GDP. Every single new resident automatically boosts the number. It doesn't matter if they're employed, struggling, or thriving. More people equals bigger GDP. It's that simple. Let me introduce you to Elena Morales. 28 years old, a trained nurse from Venezuela. She arrived in Canada in January 2024 with her nursing credentials and $8,000 in savings. She had hope. She had skills. She was ready to contribute. But here's what actually happened. Her credentials weren't recognized. She's now driving for Uber, pulling in about $2,200 a month. She lives in a basement apartment with 3 roommates, paying $900 just for rent. Elena told me, I came here for opportunity. Instead, I'm counting pennies like I did back home. But here's what absolutely blew my mind. Elena's mere presence in Canada added roughly $50,000 to the country's GDP calculation. Even though she's earning poverty wages. Even though she can't practice the profession she trained for. The formula doesn't care. Body in country equals GDP go up. So if adding people automatically inflates the economy, why do Canadians feel broker than ever? The answer is hiding in a metric economists desperately don't want you focusing on. Here it is, Canada's GDP per capita, the amount of economic output per person, fell 1.4% in 2024. That's the worst performance since the 1990s recession. Think about what that actually means. The total economic pie is growing, sure. But you're now sharing that pie with way more people. Your slice? It's shrinking. TD Economics dropped a bomb in their November 2024 report. Canadian living standards have declined for 6 consecutive quarters. Let me paint you a picture with the Chun family, second-generation Canadians living in Vancouver. Back in 1995, David Chen's parents bought a 3-bedroom house on a single income of $48,000 a year. David Chen in 2024? He's a senior financial analyst. His household pulls in $140,000, dual income. And he can't even dream of affording a similar house. The average price? $1.8 million. David said something that hit hard. My dad was a postal worker. I'm a senior analyst at a major firm. And somehow, He had better purchasing power than I do. Close your eyes and imagine this for a second. You're working twice as hard, earning 3 times the salary your parents made. But every month, the walls close in a little tighter. Groceries, gas, rent, all squeezing. The Chun family isn't unique. They represent 68% of Canadian households now experiencing what economists call downward mobility. And here's where this gets dangerous, not just for Canada, but for the entire global economy. December 2024, unemployment in Canada hit 6.8%. That's the highest it's been in 7 years, outside of the pandemic. But wait, it gets worse. Canada added 400,000 people to its workforce in 2024. You know how many jobs were actually created? 150,000. Do the math. That's a 250,000 person shortfall. According to an RBC economics report from December 2024, youth unemployment, that's ages 15 to 24, sits at 14.5%. Double the national average. Meet Marcus Thompson, 23 years old. Just graduated from the University of Toronto with a computer science degree and $45,000 in student debt. Marcus applied to 387 jobs after graduation in May 2024. He got 12 interviews. 0 offers. He's currently working part-time at Starbucks for $17 an hour, living with his parents. Marcus told me, "I did everything right. Good grades. Internships. I networked. And the system still spit me out." Tech companies that used to hire 5,000 people a year? Hiring freeze. Entry-level positions? They now require 3 to 5 years of experience. If you're watching this from the United States, the UK, or Australia, pay very close attention. Canada is the canary in the coal mine for what's coming to every developed nation. But the jobs crisis? That's not even the scariest part. What's happening to Canada's young professionals should absolutely terrify every government on earth. In 2024, 126,000 Canadians packed up and left the country. That's the highest emigration rate since the 1970s. Here's the kicker, 42% of them were under 35 years old. And 68% had university degrees. According to a Fraser Institute study published in 2024, Canada isn't just losing people. It's losing its best and brightest. Dr. Aisha Rahman is 31 years old. She's an emergency room physician who trained entirely in Canada. That training cost Canadian taxpayers roughly $250,000. In 2024, working in Toronto, Aisha earned $220,000 Canadian dollars. She got an offer in Seattle for the same job, $340,000 US dollars. Lower cost of living. Better career advancement. Lower taxes. Aisha told me, "I love Canada. I really do. But I can't build a future on patriotism alone." She moved to Seattle in September 2024. The Conference Board of Canada estimated that skilled worker emigration costs the country $15.7 billion annually. That's billion with a B. These aren't desperate refugees fleeing war zones. These are doctors, engineers, software developers, people fleeing an economic system that no longer rewards merit, education, or hard work. Picture this, you sacrifice your 20s. You go through 8 years of training. You rack up debt. And then you watch your purchasing power evaporate while politicians go on TV celebrating GDP growth. Would you stay? So if the smartest, most productive people are bailing, and all the growth is just from adding more people, what's actually holding up this economy? The answer is absolutely terrifying. Here's a stat that should make your jaw drop. 53% of Canada's GDP growth since 2015 has come from real estate and construction. Not tech innovation. Not manufacturing. Not productivity gains. Just houses. The National Bank of Canada released an analysis in 2024 showing that Canada's housing price-to-income ratio hit 67%, the worst in the entire G7. Here's how the cycle works. Every new immigrant creates demand for housing. Prices go up. GDP goes up. But actual supply? Builders can't keep pace. The country is short 3.5 million housing units. Let me tell you about the Kowalski family's investment. They bought a pre-construction condo in Toronto back in 2019 for $550,000. In 2024, it's valued at $720,000. On paper, that's a 30% gain. Sounds great, right? Here's the reality. Their monthly carrying costs, mortgage, condo fees, property taxes, add up to $3,400. They rent it out for $2,600. They're losing $800 every single month. But they can't sell without triggering a massive capital gains tax hit. Mr. Kowalski said, "I'm trapped in my own investment. It's bleeding me dry, but I can't escape." If you've ever wondered how a country can grow while its people slide backward, this is the playbook: inflate asset prices. Import demand. Slap a GDP growth sticker on it. Call it prosperity. But every Ponzi scheme has a breaking point. And economists are losing sleep over what happens next. Between 2019 and 2024, Canada's productivity growth averaged 0.2% per year. The United States? 1.8%. According to the OECD's 2024 productivity report, Canada now ranks 18th out of 38 developed nations. Let me translate that into plain English. Every Canadian worker now produces $5 less per hour than they did in 2019, adjusted for inflation. Sarah Kim is 41. She ran a digital marketing agency in Montreal. In 2019, she had 12 employees and pulled in $1.2 million in revenue. By 2024, she's down to 4 employees and $600,000 in revenue. What happened? Clients slashed budgets. My best talent left for US jobs offering double the salary. My tax rate went up. And now I'm working 70-hour weeks to earn less than I made part-time back in 2015. Small businesses, the actual backbone of job creation, are suffocating. Meanwhile, politicians point to aggregate numbers and celebrate. When productivity falls but GDP grows, it means one thing: you're working harder for less. That's not prosperity. That's slow, grinding erosion wearing a disguise. And the warning signs? They're flashing bright red. In January 2025, the Bank of Canada issued a warning: unsustainable immigration levels without matching infrastructure investment risk serious social fracturing. The IMF's World Economic Outlook from October 2024 flagged Canada's growth model as high risk for correction. Remember Raj Patel from the beginning? He made a decision. In January 2025, he accepted a job offer in Austin, Texas. 35% salary bump. Cost of living 40% lower. 0 provincial income tax. Raj said, "I'm not leaving because I hate Canada. I'm leaving because staying means accepting decline." Now, some economists are proposing alternatives. Stop focusing on total GDP. Start measuring GDP per capita. Slow immigration to sustainable levels. Invest in productivity. Pour resources into innovation instead of just inflating real estate. But here's the brutal political reality: the second population growth stops, the house of cards collapses. Housing prices crash. GDP contracts. And every politician who rode that wave? They're done. It's like watching someone sprint full speed on a treadmill. Sweating. Exhausted. Getting absolutely nowhere. But they keep celebrating because the treadmill speedometer says they're going fast. So here's what I need to know from you. If you're Canadian, are you staying and fighting to fix this? Or are you planning your exit strategy? And if you're watching from another country, do you see these exact same warning signs where you live? Because if Canada, stable, wealthy, resource-rich Canada, can't make this model work, what makes anyone think it'll work anywhere else? Drop your country and your biggest economic fear in the comments right now. Let's see if we're all witnessing the same slow-motion crash.